Okay. They can hear me now. Let's check Discord to see if it's even being picked up. We'll just remove it and add it back in. Glad I saw that. Test your mic. Peek it if you want. I don't care. Hi. Really? I forgot the name of the dang song. No, oh, why? Wow, like, whatever reason they can't hear you. Oh, add executable. That was a my bad. No, peek it again. Yep, there it goes. You picked it and peeked it up. You knew a lot of memes apparently. Speaking of memes, that people know about a lot of memes, like Elon does not need what he's doing. Let's go. You know what I'm gonna have to do here? Just so I can have control of this. It's gonna go right all over my game, but it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, everybody, we're back for another episode of the podcast, Anime4All podcast. Few things of order. I guess we're gonna talk about the Dragon Ball Daima episode because my God, that broke the internet, and also the finale to Dragon Prince. All around, pretty much the Rurouni Kenshin being the filling to the sandwich. I don't know if I like that wording, but I guess for right now, since I brought it up first, we'll talk about Daima really quick. Didn't we talk about last week at some point? It may not have been live, but didn't I bring up Super Saiyan 4 was really cool looking?
And I said we were talking about how Dragon Ball GT was mostly a waste, and you're like, yeah, but I like Super Saiyan 4. And I said, yeah, I agreed with you.
I mean, my feelings are, I appreciate GT more. And the funny thing is, I think the only reason why I appreciate it more is because of Dragon Ball Evolution. We don't talk about that in the community, but I think Evolution made me appreciate GT more. Just in general.
I don't hate GT. It's just not something I want to watch again and again like Z was, or even Dragon Ball.
I think there's some parts of GT like if I cared enough, not cared, if I really wanted to watch something Dragon Ball and it wasn't Z. I think there's parts of it I mean, again, they're probably the parts surrounding Super Saiyan 4, like the baby stuff. I think the baby stuff was kind of competent. Could have it done better, yeah. Vegeta kind of being blamed for a lot of what happened to that planet really wasn't his fault, but you know, and then like the Dragon Balls, the Black Star Dragon Balls, that was really cool. I'm guessing, well, from what we know about like at least what Daima is, because I think it's at the back now. If people have seen the interview, which I found out something that kind of makes Super Saiyan 4. There's an interview that somebody from the producer of Daima did that got some information out. I was not aware of this last bit that I found out, because I found out about this last part that I'm about to bring up. From the people who work at Team 4-Star, they did a review of the episode. Well, for one, I think it's like Team 4-Star Bento or something, or Team Star Bento. I forgot the name of their channel. But they work at Team 4-Star. They've been really critical of like the back half of Daima. At least one of them, I think his name was Kaiser Neko. He's been pretty harsh. But it's mainly because he's felt for a while now that like a lot of the stuff that happened in this show was like a first pass. Like they didn't exactly like work things out and fine tune things. Which I wouldn't 100% know, but I know he was very vocal about this. He was very vocal about the episodes that he liked, but he was also very vocal about the things he didn't like. But apparently from his interview, and he linked it too. There's apparently a part where they bring up how they were working on Daima and the inner workings, and something about kind of cheapened Super Saiyan 4 for me. Because I will say, before I say what I'm going to say here, I will say this much: as cool as Super Saiyan 4 was to show up, which was really freaking cool. Um, as it was happening, and I may have been the only one who felt this, at least between me and you. I felt like when it was happening, I felt like I was watching a fanfic get animated, and I don't know how. I don't know if I feel like that's a good thing or a bad thing. If
When
I'm
you
being,
watch the transformation,
yeah, it didn't seem real to me. Like it didn't seem like to me. It's like it took like that in that moment before I even found out about the last bit. It didn't feel like it was intended to show up here. It almost like somebody in the animation department said, Super Saiyan 4 was cool and we're trying to reanimate GT. Why not bring that in here? And they did. And because I don't hate how it got there. I know Kaiser Neko did. He used the words unearned power up to describe how he initially
I would
felt.
agree with that, though, wouldn't you? The Namekian just kind of went over and went pew, and then like he was
But
Super Saiyan 4.
well, I love Super Saiyan 4. I don't like how the original transformation went. To me, it's like, and the main reason why I didn't like how you go from Golden Azuro to Super Saiyan 4 is because later on in GT, Goku just kind of just powers up and goes into it. There's like no. It feels like, what was the point of Golden Azura? I feel like that didn't need to be there in the mix of the transformation. Like it just didn't need to be there because like Goku could just power it straight into it. It didn't make sense for it. At least to me, it never made sense. That's why I was like, I don't know how. I don't know. Yeah, he didn't earn it, but at the same time, it's like, what other way could they have like? There's no other way to get Super Saiyan 4 in there other than having a Namekian pull it out. In all reality, there's no legitimate way because Elder Kai ain't here to tell Goku that maybe if you pull out your tail again, you might be able to obtain your powers again from your natural Saiyan state. So it's just like, to me, it's like, even with that whole thing, and I never really liked how Golden Zero into Super Saiyan 4 really did work because of the latter half of like, oh, I can just power into it now that I have tasted the power. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why go through the Golden Azura rigmarole? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So while, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say it's an unearned power up. I mean, I guess you can say it's an unearned power, but it's just like, the Golden Azura thing didn't make much sense to me, and to me, it's like that was always a caveat to bringing the Super Saiyan 4 transmission into canon, is that Golden Azura thing. So I guess they kind of just bypassed it all with Neva just saying, "I'm going to just power you up." I will say, well, I guess I'm gonna say right now. Apparently, the producer said that when they were working on it, they were actually working their way to writing a narrative. Like, they were in a process of finalizing everything, and then Akira kind of just, Akira was never really supposed to be involved with the project, but then Akira kind of just put himself into the project, as you would know, if he got involved with anything, he was going to put himself into there. So Akira's involvement wasn't really planned, and they never did finish their story. Apparently, from what the producer said, they never finished it before they started animating it. So they were actually just putting the story together as they were animating it, and Kazuneko really got upset about it. But then I kind of like made Super Saiyan 4 kind of cheap to me now, because it's like, oh great, so it was never planned. Which based on the way it happened, it definitely didn't seem planned. But I always kind of like not knowing that kind of thing, at least not until years later when I can process it a little bit better. But in that moment, it kind of just like, as cool as that was, now I'm a little bit upset that it's here. Though, I mean, I will say this much. I guess the interesting thing about this transformation is, like, I don't think, based on everything we know, it's never brought up in Super that they had done this. So I'm guessing it's just something that Goku forgot about. I guess is the best way to put it. Goku just forgot about this particular transformation he pulled off with Neva's help. And Vegeta apparently forgot that it happened himself as well, which is also kind of strange. But with that being there and said, as I was looking at the more positive aspects of Super Saiyan 4, I was like, oh, that's right. That was something that I never even thought about when it happened. Is that when Vegeta showed off Super Saiyan 3, right? And this was before we even knew about Super Saiyan 4 being in the show. That meant that at that very moment that Vegeta and Goku were on par with each other.
Yeah.
I
At
never thought
least,
about
as
that.
far as keeping track of transformations goes.
But no, I think Vegeta's power is at the same level, mainly just because Whis has been stated, Whis has stated that Goku and Vegeta were always on par with each other. It's just that with raw talent, it's just that Vegeta always had a chip on his shoulder. So that just means like Vegeta and Goku were the same power level. It's just that they both attained it differently because of who the heck they are as individuals, which is really weird. But you know,
Yeah.
was like what that moment that Vegeta showed up Super Saiyan 3 meant that Goku and Vegeta were the same level of power. Like at that moment. But when Super Saiyan 4 got introduced, that meant that Vegeta and Goku are no longer on the same level anymore. Which is actually kind of funny. Because even like now it's like Vegeta worked himself to the bone to get to that form, which actually kind of also brings an interesting point. Was that, and I never even thought about this when it was happening in Z, but like so Goku never told Vegeta about Super Saiyan 3, but when Vegeta came back to life, you know, to help out with Boo, Vegeta kind of rails against Goku about holding that back and not telling him about it. But what was interesting about that little conversation is that who the heck told Vegeta about Super Saiyan 3? Because like Goku didn't tell him, so Vegeta would have come back not knowing the information at all.
So it's kind of a plot hole, do you think?
I don't know if it's a plot hole as much as I think we're just to assume because Goku learned about Super Saiyan 3 when he died, and he trained to get it when he was dead. Same thing could be sit there and said about Vegeta is that Vegeta possibly learned how to do it when he was dead, and just never had to use it because it was a waste of power after seeing Goku get drained by it with his fight with Boo. Which means that Vegeta probably thought it was useful in his diminutive state to fight in it, but he only uses it for a couple of seconds before he powers it down. So right there, Vegeta's already got better control over Super Saiyan 3 than Goku does. Even though we only see him do it once, but it could be a plot hole. But I just like like that was years ago though. It was never explained how he found out about it because Goku never told him, and Goku found out about it when he was dead. So Vegeta died too. So at some point, Vegeta must have found out about it when he was dead, but I don't know who would have told him about it. I don't even know who trained Goku to go Super Saiyan 3. That's the other thing too. We don't know who trained Goku to obtain that form.
Do you think Vegeta went to the Grand Kai's planet?
Well, the problem with that is that when Vegeta blew himself up, his body didn't go with him. So I don't know what that meant for Vegeta's soul. Because like King Yama said that he had to put together and pull some strings to get Vegeta's body back. I think is what he said. But those are just things that just kind of ran in my mind as I was thinking about Super Saiyan 4 and backtracking a little bit. Because it's like, at that point, is that Vegeta and Goku were at the same power level. So I'm guessing it's like, they could still, he could technically still be at the same power level because Goku had Super Saiyan 4 stolen from him. Because like, Goma literally started getting stronger. That eye is a problem.
Yeah, he keeps upgrading. When it's not enough, the eye just makes him more powerful.
Which is like, it kind of proves my point again about like, this Devora would have been an issue with that eye.
Do you think this Super Saiyan 4 is weaker than the other Super Saiyan 4s? From this Super Saiyan 4 is weaker than the GT Super Saiyan 4?
I don't think so. I mean, one of the things that was stated by at least Kaiser Neko was the fact that he's under the assumption, because at the end of the episode, Glorio makes a wish to Namekian, and we don't know what it is yet, because it cuts off right before we get a chance to find out what it is, which of course it would. This is anime. So Kaiser Neko brings to the point that it's possible that it's only this week because Goku's in his his tiny form. Because like one thing that we do that is different about the Super Saiyan 4, besides the hair, the hair and the size of the fist. Good lord. Watch out, Chi Chi.
Uh-oh. Jesus.
I mean, GT, both Boma and Chi Chi said that they would do them in that form. It's just so. I don't know if that was a purpose, if that was writing on purpose or not, but I don't know. But we don't know what they what that form looks like when they're adult, and so it's like it's possible that it may actually be weaker, but only because they're smaller. Maybe if they're at their adult bodies and they get the upgrade from Neva, it's possible that Goku and Vegeta could obtain Super Saiyan 4 at the same time and then fuse. Because then at that point, Gogeta would just have the power that he would have the power that he had in GT and be able to fight Goma that way. Since it seems like we're going with the theory, we're not going with it. We're going with the idea that apparently it's got to be Goku and Vegeta fusing at this point. But I'm still in the whole like, what's gonna make that fusion different? As I mean, we've seen Gogeta, we've seen Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, we've seen Super Saiyan. Wait, did Gogeta go Super Saiyan God, or he only go Super Saiyan Blue?
Vegeta?
Gogeta.
Oh, I don't know. Did Vegeta ever go Super Saiyan God? I think Vegeta always goes straight to blue, doesn't he?
He goes Super Saiyan God. He does it during he does it during the beginning stages of his fight with Broly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he goes from, I can't believe you missed it or forgot about it, but during his fight with Broly, he goes Super Saiyan, and then in the midst of Broly getting the upper hand on him, he closes his eyes as he's falling, and then he just suddenly changes into Super Saiyan God.
Okay.
But he fights Broly in that form a little bit, kind of gets the upper hand on him, but then just switches to blue. But yeah, Vegeta can go Super Saiyan God. I mean, in the manga, it's shown that apparently...
I know he can go that Super Saiyan God, I just didn't think he ever chose to.
He does it, like, I mean, like you said before, he does go blue, but Goku does the exact same thing. They never really... Those two never really decide to go God for some reason. I think maybe... I don't know if it's weaker than blue. You'd think it wouldn't be, but... Because I don't know the exact status of what blue is. Because Goku literally has to add on Kaioken for blue to do any more damage than it already does.
One thing that was smart about bringing Super Saiyan 4 into Daima is that we didn't have to be tired of yet another transformation. They just reused one of the existing transformations. Because I know a lot of the community is sick of new transformations.
I mean, this is still a new transformation if you really think about it, because I mean, a lot of people, I wasn't even aware of this, but I think there's still a lot of people who have never watched GT, so a lot of them only heard about Super Saiyan 4 in passing, but never actually seen it. I'm not sure how many a lot of them is, but I watched an interacting channel, I think it was a married couple, I think the wife or girlfriend apparently only heard about Super Saiyan 4, never actually seen it. So like this Diamond was her first seeing of the transformation period. So it's just like, oh, so there might be some people out there who have just never seen it. I would say I do like this one, mainly because the hair color is differentiated. I mean, not that I'm saying I didn't like the black hair on the original one. But it's like it always kind of bothered me a little bit when Vegeta and Goku did fuse in GT to get Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I never understood why Gogeta's hair was red. Cause it wasn't like Gogeta was Super Saiyan 8 or something like that. He was Super Saiyan 4. It's all over the freaking place. It was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I never completely understood why Gogeta's hair was the one that had the different hair color. Like why it was red.
That's a good point.
So to me, it's like it always kind of bothered me a little bit with that. I was like, why? I mean, it didn't bother me at the time. It only bothered me a couple years later. Actually, more recently when I started thinking about it, I was like, wait, why is Gogeta's? Because like a lot of people started bringing like, wait, is Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 in there, or is he something else? It's like, but no, it's like everywhere it says he was Super Saiyan 4, and I'm just sitting here like, Wait, then why is his hair red? As far as we know, Super Saiyan 4, you have black hair. Like, you're different
Right.
everywhere else. But your hair, becomes longer and it's just black. So it was always one of those weird things. I don't know. I sure hope we
I never
don't.
thought about it, but you're right. Because especially when hair is like so significant for like the status of the transformation.
Not that it's a really big deal, but it was one of I just noticed. Like, I like that. Okay, Goku's hair is red, so at least there's continuity. Unless now if they fuse and then the fused form has black hair, I'm gonna be really upset.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, come on! Like, you just had the perfect solution. Gogeta's hair can still be red now. Why do you have to do that? They better not do that. Oh, apparently something I was always misconception that I wasn't even aware of. Super Saiyan 4 and GT, that wasn't designed by Toriyama.
Yeah, we knew that.
Did we? I didn't know that. I thought it
Yuma.
was
I thought
designed
you
by
knew that.
Toriyama. I didn't. I always assumed it was Toriyama that made that.
I thought Toriyama had pretty much no say in like GT.
I thought I read somewhere that Toriyama was consulted about character designs. I don't know anymore. I thought I heard somewhere that he was consulted for some of the stuff in GT. Like he didn't have a hands-on thing, but he had some influence on some things. But whatever. But since Akira had actual influence in Daima, that Super Saiyan 4 is actually his. So the big gorilla hands, which I guess I want to bring up too, Goku running like a little chimp was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was like the first instance of Goku actually running like a chimpanzee or whatever. It was like I saw that and I was just like, oh, that's why his hands are so big. I thought that was just a part of the design he wanted to do for some dumb reason. But with that being said, I hope they give that to Vegeta. And I feel like they have to, right? If those two are gonna fuse, because it wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't be the same power level to fuse. Am I
I
wrong?
think they can fuse if they're not the same power level because Goku briefly considered fusing with Hercule Satan, remember?
But didn't he say that the power would be downgrade? I swear when he was considering that, he mentioned that the power would be a downgrade. I think the only upside to fusing with him would have been that he knows martial arts. I get
No.
I get what you're saying. I'm just trying to make sure I remember what Goku said about that.
I don't remember that specifically, but I know it's possible to fuse with somebody even if your power levels aren't
Well,
even.
that was the earrings. Yeah, that was the earrings that he considered that with.
But fusion is pretty much fusion, isn't it?
Now I thought that the dance you needed to have somebody not only the same size and nearly the same height, but I think your power levels needed to be close. Cause yeah, that was the thing with Goten and Trunks, right? Like Trunks had to bring down his power level to match Goten's full power.
You're right. I don't know why Goku even considered briefly like fusing with Hercule Satan then.
Well, because I think he was trying to fuse a Gohan, and Gohan, being Gohan, dropped the earring. Oh god, I just realized there was a freaking callback to that in Super Hero. Piccolo chucks the sense of being at Gohan, and he drops the sense of being. It's almost the same thing of like what happened with during the Super Boost situation. I didn't realize that till just now. Oh my goodness. Dang it. But yeah, Gohan found the earring, and then as soon as he was about to put it on his ear, Super Boo fused with him. Like he just merged with him. And Goku had to choose and this is where Vegeta showed up. He had to find another suitable candidate nearby, and Hercule was the closest. And he only considered Hercule because Hercule at least knows the basics of martial arts. It's ridiculous how much I remember about some things when I think about it. I find that concerning a little bit. But
How much you remember? Why is that concerning?
It's like I knew my brain. I always do the joke of like, there's a lot of nothing that matters in my brain. That just completely proves it.
Hmm.
There's a lot of nothing that matters in there. There's stuff that matters in here, but it's like the stuff that doesn't really matter is the stuff that takes a lot more space. It's like trying to Tetris your way through the mindscape of my brain. Don't do it. um, but yes, I hope that they, well, maybe not. Maybe Vegeta and Goku could just use like normal after they get whatever they need. Um, when they're back to normal state, possibly. Who knows? We're like near the end of the show, and Super Saiyan 4 like broke the internet when it happened. I unfortunately got spoiled on it because I was on YouTube and I just it was on my recommended feed because it recommends stuff that I watch sometimes, and it's done that consistently where it's showing something I didn't want to see, and I had to try to forget it as much as I could. It's just an image like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I was just like, "Are you serious?" I hate that. I was like, "Well, now I gotta watch out." I'm suspecting that Glorio is going to betray Arinsu just because Glorio had that whole moment where he was remembering the adventure he had with Goku and the gang. And it was also made really clear by Glorio's expression that when Arinsu had the last Dragon Ball, he wasn't expecting her to have it. He's like, "What are you doing with that?" In his own brain. He didn't say that out loud. But it was interesting to see like Glorio got. It looks like Glorio throughout the entire adventure had a change of heart, which is interesting because sometimes the change of heart doesn't typically happen during the adventure. Sometimes it happens at the end of it. But it was surprising that Glorio had the thought of like, "What am I gonna do here?" I still find it interesting, and tell me if you find this interesting. Um, why didn't Arinsu learn Namekian?
Why did Arinsu what?
Not learn Namekian? Because she says that she had Glorio learn it for this particular purpose. But
Maybe she
why?
just didn't. Maybe she didn't. Gloria already knew it or something. I don't
No,
know.
she said that's like he learned it for the purpose of that. That's why he.
Maybe she couldn't be bothered and she just left it to underlings.
That's so dumb though, because like, how do you not? I guess at the time, Gloria was still aligned with her. He was having he didn't have a change of heart by then.
Yeah.
But it's so like I was sitting there thinking about the entire time. It's like Gloria could betray you right now. Like at this like right minute, like because you don't know what he's saying. Because I was watching another video of somebody watching the episode, and like the last word that he says, somebody said, I forgot the name, the Namekian word he used, but he said that last word sounded like child. And so it like,
Somebody knows Namekian.
huh?
Somebody knows Namekian.
No, they just said it sounded like they don't know what he was saying, but that last word he said, it sounded like he said child, like it was almost like you could hear child within it. I forgot the last word. I bet there is somebody out there who probably has like studied Namekian their entire life and has used it for this last moment. Like this is what I trained for.
Jesus.
This is my truest form. They might just look at it like, really? Okay, dude, calm down. You just learned the fictional universalist language. Ain't that big of a deal. This dude over here learned that language in Tolkien's universe.
People legitimately learn Elvish. Like it's a language and people legitimately learn it.
I mean, if you're interested in something enough, you will do what you can to get more immersed in it, basically. And I'm pretty sure that he learned Elvish because I'm pretty sure there's probably a large amount of text in his books that were written in Elvish. So it behooved them if they were reading the books to know what they were saying in those texts. So it makes sense, if you want to learn Elvish to do that, then shoot, go for it. So a part of me almost wishes that there was somewhere to actually learn the Namekian, because like watching Dragon Ball, that would have been so helpful. You remember that? You remember that really weird moment in Dragon Ball when Kami, in a human form, and Piccolo were talking to each other and just sounded like complete gibberish. It was like during the tournament when they were confronting each other for the first time in a long time since they split.
Hmm.
Which is like it sounded like such complete gibberish, only to learn later on it was a Namekian language. But yeah, the
But
episode.
that's a good question, though. Is there any actual Namekian language consistency, or do they just make mumbo jumbo sounds?
I'm gonna be real, considering I know Akira Toriyama's track record. I'm pretty sure there's no way that there's a legitimate, consistent Namekian language out there.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think so either.
if anything, I expect Toritaro to do that. But because Toritaro is so late in the game, I highly doubt he'll. If he wants to make another language, he'll probably do it. I don't know what his plans are for the future of this series. I know the manga's coming back this month. I don't know when. It might be coming back this week, actually, now if they might not have said that. Was it? Yeah, I think it's supposed to be February 20th, so I'll have to go and check and see what's going on there. Apparently, where we are right now is dealing with Trunks and Teen Trunks and Teen Goten. But crap, I thought. But yeah, like the making language, it'll be interesting. Yeah, this episode pretty much began and ended with a bang. Literally, like just Goku trying to fight Goma and then getting a power from Neva out of nowhere. Somebody brought an interesting point. I remember seeing this theory, but I kind of tossed it out because it seems really too circumventional. I mean circumstantial. Because they brought up in an episode that everything with pointy ears originally had an origin in the demon world, and somebody brought up that like what about the Ozoro transformation, the monkey thing? Somebody brought up that those things got pointy ears. Somebody had brought that it's possible that maybe the Saiyans have some origin in the demon realm that they don't know about, and that they use that to be able to connect Neva being able to pull out the Super Saiyan 4. It's like I guess like okay, I guess that would make sense of how he would be able to do that if that monkey transformation literally is connected to something in the demon world. I don't know how like I don't know like how stretchy that is, but it's like it can make sense because I mean I will say that the monkey transformation was always something that was kind of weird. The Saiyans just accepted it as a thing that they were capable of, and like and they only kept track of it when it was a full moon. So it was always like a really random bit of thing to kind of introduce into the show because it was a major part of Dragon Ball, and then they only used it a couple of times during Z. Actually, they only used it a couple of times during the Saiyan saga. After that, the monkey transformation never showed up ever again. They completely got rid of it.
Yeah.
So it's like it could make sense that maybe the transformation thing might have something to do with the demon realm, but I don't know where in the demon realm like that would be. Like we haven't seen any monkey looking things running around. So like I mean, though we haven't seen a lot of demon realm, so we don't know where and what if it's possible. I mean, according to Supreme Kai, Earth and Vegeta, King Vegeta, I mean, Planet Vegeta just showed up out of nowhere. Like they just suddenly materialized. Like I remember that. Like he said, they just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Like no rhyme or reason. It just showed up out of nowhere. So I don't like know what was the circumstance behind like what made Earth and then what made Planet Vegeta. And we know the history of Planet Vegeta. Basically, like they overtook the nearest planet when their planet got got overrun or whatever. So it's like it's kind of weird. It's like it'd be interesting if that's where it came from, but it would explain how Neville was able to give Goku Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, like how did Neva even know that it was going to transform him? That's kind of a plot hole-ish kind of thing too. Like, I know Neva's really wise and everything, but like, has he seen a Super Saiyan 4 before? Because I doubt it.
Well, I mean, if you want to get that picky, like, what's good? Let's get picky with GT. How did Elder Kai know about Super Saiyan 4? That made no sense.
That's a good point too.
It's like, how did he know? Because he literally called out Super Saiyan 4 too. I remember that. He said, "Oh, why'd you go Super Saiyan 4?" Like, what? I was like, I never even thought about that. I was like, how do you even know about that transformation? What? Like, he had to have seen it at some point. So I don't know. It's possible that Neva didn't know what it was going to do, and he just said, well, I can power up my Tamagami. I wonder what happened if I did it to something with flesh and blood. Boop. It's possible he didn't know what it was gonna do. Because he kind of just showed up in front of Goku, like, hey, there, like, how about I help you out? And he just kind of just popped him with some energy. It's 100% possible he did not know what it was gonna do until it did it. But it is a good point. Like, how did he know? I mean, I was kind of questioning that too. I was like, how did he? Excuse me? If I were Goku, I would have been looking at my hands and looking at him like, first of all, how? Second of all, thank you. Would have been the exact order of operations in my mind. It's like, how and thank you. It's basically I was like, It's interesting too. Before we, I guess, go off of Dragon Ball here. I like that when Goma was punching Goku when he had done the Kame, he started up the Kamehameha. He punched him and Goku flipped like he was done. You saw his eyes gone as he flipped around. I remember what was going. My thought process like, wait, why is everything going in slow motion? And then you just hear, Ka man, and I'm like, oh, he still got it.
Yeah.
It seems like it always is with him. It's like it's a consistent thing with Goku and the Kamehameha. It seems like always he get. It seems like he gets stopped, and all of a sudden he picks it right back up and then fires it. It's such a really interesting move that Goku's has picked up over the years. He was capable of doing it at such a young age, and as he got older, he just got more powerful as a result. Quite interesting. I wonder what the final flash of the Gallic gun would have looked like in with Super Saiyan 4. Maybe we'll find out. Who knows? I hope we don't have another situation where they just give Goku something and then leave Vegeta out of it. Because they do that a lot, and that's kind of annoying after a while.
Yeah, it would be nice if Vegeta got the transformation as well.
Because it's like, to me, it's,
I'd really like to see is Vegeta get the transformation, and then they fuse.
I,
Just like Goma.
I suspect that's what's gonna happen. Because it looked like Super Saiyan 4 was not enough. Then again, it looked like it was enough, and then the hole in the ground kind of just gave way to a giant Goma. Uh, so it looks like no matter what you do, as you said before, like it just wants to. I gets beat. It keeps powering him up. So it's like it's to me. It's like okay, this seems like this is not gonna get any better. Goma's is gonna keep getting stronger unless they get rid of the eye. At this point, it would take probably a few Super Saiyan 4 or Gogeta, because again, Gogeta, for whatever reason, seems to be the fusion that has the most power potential. It seems kind of weird that Vegito doesn't get that same treatment. Even though Vegito is strong, and we've seen that, he has not done half the stuff that Gogeta has done. As I keep bringing up, like every time Gogeta shows up, he just shatters the world, like literally. For some reason, they always seem to go to a different universe. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen, like a fusion do, because Gotenks doesn't even do that. That's what I was saying. Like I don't completely understand like what would be different. I guess this the most different it would be is like okay, they bring Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta into the canon too. I mean, I guess it would make sense unless they fuse them this time. We get a Super Saiyan 8. It'd be the only time in this show. Super Saiyan 8 Gogeta would be the funniest thing. I know they're not gonna do that. But it'd be funny if they added those two numbers
Oh,
up.
would their hair be at that point red?
Wait, their hair's already red, so I'm guessing maybe their hair would just be multicolored or something like that. Or
Rainbow.
turn white. I mean turn white. I mean Ultra Instinct doesn't exist yet, so I mean Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is just turning white. His hair also because speaking of which, Super Saiyan 4 Goku had like a white outline around him when he wasn't having the yellow aura. They still, speaking of that, they still kept the yellow aura. I highly expect them to change that aura. So I'm guessing this Super Saiyan transformations in general, if they're not Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue, they're always gonna be the yellow aura.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that was kind of really odd putting like why is their aura still yellow? Shouldn't it be a different color by this point? But I guess it doesn't really matter. What the I wonder what would happen if Neva did that to Piccolo?
If Neva did that to pick, well, my assumption was that what he sent to Goku was Blutz waves.
It did look weird.
Like it was the energy of Blutz waves or the Daima version of Blutz waves. So if that's the case, Blutz waves don't affect him in that game.
I thought that was some nebulous energy that Never just knew how to create, or magic that affected Goku a different way. But I guess actually, considering it was a Super Saiyan 4 transformation, it is possible that Never just somehow knew how to make Blitz waves and make them in a quantity enough to force Goku to just jet right to Super Saiyan 4.
Right. I mean, that's how they get it for free in GT. It's Blutz waves. So.
Well, Goku, he actually looks at them. He actually looks at the Earth, because the Earth is reflecting the waves from the moon, and apparently, and I don't know why. This is what I read a long time ago. This was on the wiki. That wiki might be wrong or whatever. But what I was reading, they made it sound like what actually was going on with why Goku transformed like he did was when he was looking at when he was looking at the sun, the moon was like right behind it, so the waves were going through the Earth over the Earth's magnetic whatever field and just getting jutted out, and it was just stronger, and because of it, it just made the blood waves stronger. So that's like why Goku, when he did transform, he did turn brown, but then all of a sudden he turned yellow. And that's what made Super Saiyan 4 possible. Is what GT. I don't know. We know Akira wasn't all that involved with it, so take it with a grain of salt. But I guess it wouldn't be too out of the ordinary that that old man could just make Blutz waves. He's done so much at this point. he's made and disrupted. He's made and demade barriers. He's made the Tamagami. He made the Dragon Balls. Oh, I guess we could talk about that really quick. I didn't even bring this up. Red Porunga. That's all I gotta say. Red Porunga.
Red Porunga?
Yeah, the dragon that came out of the Dragon Balls in the Demon World. He was just a red version of Porunga. Like, he wasn't anything special. He was just like a red buff version of Porunga from Namek. It was, but I still like the little detail that when Goma went in there, tried punching him, all he did was like hold up his fingers and pluck him away like he was a fly and send Goma flying. That was actually kind of funny. At least they're giving the dragons some personality. They're not just like figureheads out there making wishes happen.
Yeah.
And also, this dragon only grants one wish. I'm noticing a trend.
They seem to be able to choose how many wishes they're going to grant, right?
Hmm?
They seem to be able to choose how many wishes they'll grant.
I don't think so. I think that's at the mercy of the.
And then that game that created it.
Yeah, but again, I will say, I think that's a good thing to bring up, because I think. Yeah, Earth's Dragon Shinron said that he only granted more wishes if there are repeat comers, basically. So if you're a new one, if you're a new if you're a new person got the Dragon Balls, you only get one wish from him, but later on you get more. That's what Shinron said to at least to Goma on Earth. But that Namekian, I mean that dragon was made by Dende, so it's possible that Dende made that something within Shinron that he could do. Like he could choose. Though that dragon had more personality to begin with, so yeah, we don't really see much from Porunga, other than the few times we did see him on Namek. I mean, he kind of did like AOK when they were granting wishes or whatever like that. Whenever they asked him, "Could you do this?" Like that, Porunga seemed more chill than the dragon on than Shinron did.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. I guess I'm not disappointed that it just looked like a red version of Porunga, but I guess at the same time it's like, he is from Namek. Well, yeah, he is from Namek, So the Namekians that came out of came out of there would make the same Dragon Balls in the same and the same dragon would come up from it. It's just in Neva's case, he decided to make his red for some strange reason. Or that could be the original dragon. And then the one they have on Nemec's a knockoff. That'd be an interesting thing to ask them though. It's like, hey, why is your dragon green? They probably wouldn't answer that. Okay, so with that, the episode pretty much ends with L'Oreal making a wish in Namekanese. And we'll find out we'll figure out what he's gonna do next week. I think the assumption for a lot of people is that he just wished for something else. He didn't do Arensu's wish, which will make the most sense. We'll have to see if he betrays everybody, huh?
What did he wish for then?
So I mean, Kaiser Nichols says that he probably wished for them to return to the normal state, revert them back from their child forms. Because they are kind of depowered, not by how much, but they're still kind of depowered, so they can't utilize their full power because they're still got child bodies.
Is that going to be enough of a boost to make Goku able to fight this guy?
I have no idea. It could lead to them fusing, because maybe the fusing as minis wouldn't like provide enough power either. I don't know. Again, that's possible. Kaiser Nickel, that's what he says. He's convinced that's what's going to be, but we don't really know. I don't know. I don't know. So we'll have to find out next week. With that, so I'm trying to think of what happened to Rennie Kenshin really quick. I think it's just more exposition of them trying to get to their locations, respective locations with Kenshin and the gang, at least Kenshin, Saito, and Sonosuke heading to Tokyo to deal with Shishio. And then he also sends a letter to Yahiko and the others to get them prepared to protect Kyoto from the fire. Oh, we also find out, and I guess this was supposed to be assumed, but I guess I wasn't paying much attention. I guess Megumi is looking after the old man to checking, keeping him, trying to help him heal. I guess I wasn't assuming that. I don't know why I didn't assume that. It makes the most sense. Megumi, I'm not sure who I said there, but Megumi's looking after Okina. Yeah, looking after Okina. And also apparently working at a clinic in Kyoto too, apparently, when she has free time. Misao is like trying to come up with a plan, and she brings up she wants to like maybe prepare a Gatling gun and causes everybody else to freak out.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny, but I also didn't realize the correlation between the Gatling gun that killed the original gang all those episodes ago. Completely forgot about that. The guy with all those teeth. Ugh. But I'm sorry, that's all I remember from that dude. All those teeth.
The fat,
huh?
the fat one, the fat dumb one that has lots of teeth.
No, not him. I'm talking about the guy who had the Gatling gun, the guy who had the Gatling gun, who bought the Gatling gun all those seasons ago.
Okay.
Back when Megumi was the one needing to be rescued. Yeah, that fat one does have a lot too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
But trying to think, I'm just going over. I guess we can talk about Saito, Kenshin, and Sonosuke are heading to Tokyo. I said before. Apparently, Kenshin is under the has the idea that Shishio wants to cause a riot, so the Tokyo government can't do anything, and then it becomes a lawless land again. But I wasn't aware that that's what he was just trying to do, which I guess kind of brings up what Shishio was trying to do actually happened in real life, I believe, or close to it. I know back when Japan was because they had a treaty or something like that going on, or a law which prevented them from like making friends or whatever, or doing trades with states in the countries in the West. They had a law, and that's a part of the reason why why ships were sent to Japan during that time to help broker a peace and also caused them to get rid of their isolation policy that they had. So they kind of like pulling some similarities to when the ships invaded, quote unquote, the Japanese waters and tried making land in contact with them. So that was kind of cool. I don't know much about what happened back then, but I knew that a little bit from I looked at. Like I said, it's really clear. I mean, if people didn't know, I don't know how you didn't know, but it's really clear that Saito and Sonosuke don't like each other. And it's made even more clear when Sonosuke is literally on the roof of the carriage, screaming as if in flight several times, only for Saito to miss stabbing him, like the one time he tried stabbing him through the roof.
I thought it was a lethal stab, but when he did finally hit him, it was just like a poke in the butt.
Yeah, I don't think he's trying to kill him. He's just trying to shut him up. I just thought it was kind of funny. I think I remember seeing that kind of trope where like somebody's on the roof and talking a lot, and somebody in the carriage doesn't like it, so they either shoot through the roof or something like that. I feel like I've seen that before in other media. I just thought it was kind of funny that he's trying to. I was like, geez, he really doesn't like him.
Right.
He's like, geez. But I guess at the same time, like if I was Saito, I probably wouldn't like him either. Like Sonosuke does talk a lot. He's a good guy. I mean, in Kenshin, roots for him too. Like he's a lot more useful than you think. So like that's cool that Kenshin has that kind of faith in the guy. I will say it's kind of shocking that he decides to take Sonosuke with him to Tokyo, but I guess that means that dude that taught him the two-layer technique is going to be there. Is my assumption. Or maybe not, because he actually is seen over at Tokyo in the mountains with those other people from the Ten Swords, who all have the idea or realized by now that it seems like they were lied to, because Shushio isn't there with them. And then like Kenshin's Yako and the gang get the letter from Kenshin. They make reference to the fact that Kenshin's handwriting is horrible, which I thought was kind of funny. And it's a warning to tell them about what's going on in Kyoto and tell them to keep the fire at bay. So the rest of, not the only one, like the group that Okina, Misao now leads, put on their ninja garb and they start going everywhere trying to keep tabs on, see what's going on in the city, in Kyoto, to see what's going on and see if they couldn't prevent the fire. Two of the girls end up finding a dude leaving one of the cabins, and they follow him up a mountain apparently. But one of them pulls the other back, saying, "Don't you hear that?" And then they start hearing that they're getting ready to set fire to places in Kyoto. And then as they're about to, I guess, go and let the others know, the fat toad dude, frog guy, shows up out of nowhere. Huh?
Wipes them out.
Does he? But I don't think we see what happens.
It looked like he was going to pretty much one-shot them.
I guess. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I can't say there's enough assumption to be made other than that he wiped them out, but I don't know what actually happened. I'm not gonna make assumptions yet until I see what happens, but you could be 100% right. I hope not, because those guys seem to be really reliable and strong, but we'll have to see. We see Shisho on this boat, approaching Tokyo, and with his girlfriend. I think her name is Yumi, and at first I thought she was having second thoughts, but I guess she wasn't. She complains about the boat, and then he's like, "Tell me, did you fall for me for my looks?" I was laughing so hard. I was like, "This is a trick question."
It's a loaded question at the very least. Even if we're gonna be real about things.
He's like, "Or did you fall for what's on the inside?" And then he brings the fact that it's on the inside of this boat that's what matters. And they had this cannon in there, locked and loaded to fire. I was like, "Geez," but you're right. That was a loaded question. If you got the answer he didn't want to hear, there's no telling what he would have done to her.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I don't think I said this before, was like they did a good job keeping her attractive. I'm surprised at the consistency her design. It's actually kind of interesting. Like, huh, I wouldn't expect them to keep this up, but they kept her looking the same way she showed up in the first one. Even though she's getting a little bit more involved, I thought she would have like taken on a battle kimono or something like that if she can fight. But who knows? She's with him at his side, so I'm not sure what his plan is, other than to cause a ruckus. I guess that ends that one. You have like we have Kenshin and the gang rushing over to take care of Shisho, and then, I think you see the Saito or Kenshin brings the fact that they wouldn't make it there anyway by carriage until like 11:59 anyway. It may sound like they were in a rush to get there before 11:59, but I guess that's not the case. They're getting there as fast as they can, and that's Sanosuke realizes what's really going on after getting stabbed in the butt. Comic humor in the show. But the next episode is literally titled "The Great Kyoto Fire Part 1," and I was like, oh, we're getting close to the end of the season, aren't we?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they did literally title the next episode Part 1. I was like, oh dear. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Like, I literally wasn't keeping track of that. I was like, when I saw the title, I was like, oh dang, we're getting close to the end of the season. But yeah, I've been enjoying this. I've been enjoying the season so far. Really enjoyed it. Glad they decided to make the remake and decided to go with season 2. I hope that we get the rest of the story beyond this one. Cause I know there's only one more story beyond Shisho. Because I think there's only one more story. I know the creator came back and made something new in manga. They just called the Hokkaido arc, and it's supposed to happen. Like I think it's supposed to be what happens after, what happens in between the Shisho stuff and that arc. Because I want to say that is like the future. I think I don't remember entirely. I could be completely wrong, and this like Shisho thing is the last of the anime, and then the Hokkaido stuff is what comes with. But I don't even know. I don't remember. Again, I don't remember much past Shisho because I don't think I looked into it too much. I was hoping they were going to animate it, but nope. I could just really quick. I thought this stuff was supposed to be. I thought Hokkaido wasn't a part of the initial story. Yeah, okay, so that part, the Hokkaido arc isn't even a part of the main story. Okay, I was right about that. I guess with that, speaking of shows ending, we're here to talk about it. The finale to the entire series of Dragon Prince.
Did you want to stop at 11? You were talking about stopping at 11.
I also said that I also don't see. I'll try my best to stop 11, but I'm not going to promise anything.
I don't need to stop at 11, but I thought you wanted to.
We can keep going. It shouldn't take too much time to talk about. I'm pretty sure you got probably more to say about it than I do. And that's not even that's not saying that I didn't appreciate the show. I definitely appreciate the show. I'm just saying like you probably got like you probably saw a lot more that you want to bring up. But yeah, Dragon Prince season 7 episode 9. No the title called Nova. I best is probably I best say the name here. The title of the episode is Nova. Dang. Just dang. Everything.
It was a very brutal episode.
Everything that followed. All 4 dragons are dead. I didn't even realize the dragon that was protecting Callum and the gang actually died in that blast, but I guess it makes sense. And Callum didn't need to use dark magic either.
Yeah, but he started using it. I didn't know if that meant he was tainted now. He started the spell and his eyes blacked out.
But yeah, then his nose started bleeding, and that's when he pretty much blocked out. So I thought that as like he just couldn't handle it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting episode. I mean, all the
better off. Honestly, they would have been better off if Callum had just captured him in the coin. Even though they would have lost Callum.
I mean, Erebus would just find another way to get out, though.
It would take him a lot longer than 7 years, though, like the other one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Callum couldn't handle this spell. Probably that's just what I took from the way he was trying to cast it. But it could have been something else too. Maybe he was losing heart. I had no idea. I do like how we have all that. Callum was ready, his resolve to. And that's how the episode began. Is like Callum's resolve to do this and be killed to protect the world. And then Ezrin comes in hot with the sword. That's actually when I realized something that I wasn't really aware of the entire show. Erebus wanted to die. He knew his death would cause a supernova. Like this whole idea of like him getting revenge on people. I think he realized, because like at the very beginning of the episode, they let us know what the prophecy was, and the prophecy did bring up that there would be an explosion from a star dying. And at first you wouldn't think anything of it until you realized that Erebus was that star.
Yeah. It was a metaphor. But they said they'd be saved by somebody with black eyes, and I didn't see that in the prophecy.
Maybe she was lying to Callum. She did it before.
The only thing I could think of was that Zim's father, the Dragon King, had black eyes, but I don't remember if he does.
No, Zim's father had black eyes when he was in his his ghost form. His eyes were black. So I didn't actually think about that either, about him having the black eyes. So I guess there was like one of those. Again, these directors are known for pulling the wool over your eyes, like at the last second when it comes to the way they end their stuff. Though I will say Errol's death could have been foreseeable. At the same time, it was like I did think they were going to do it, considering that Erebus was going to come back. Which after Erebus does die, which he dies in a very sparkly fashion. I also guess I didn't think about this either, but like the way his daughter dies, she dies in an explosion too. But I had always assumed that was just a Star Touch. I was being mean about killing his daughter. Not the fact that she was a star and that her death would just cause a giant crater in the world. I didn't even consider that maybe her death was literally her dying as a star. So that was interesting.
Was Erebus and his daughter in the world at the same time, or were they somewhere else? Because I thought only one Star-touched elf could be on Earth at one time.
I brought this up earlier. Like, I'm not sure how soon, earlier about like the whole idea of them. I'm thinking, considering that Erebus' daughter was his daughter, it's possible that whoever gave birth to her is probably the reason why there's two on the planet. Either that, or there's a lot more to that role than we know. And I'm willing to bet the latter. There's a lot more to that role than we know. Yeah. It seems really weird that only one Star-touched elf could be on the Earth at the same time. But
because how would there be more?
I don't know. It's possible that they could come up with another 3 seasons and
it takes 2 to make 3 as well. I mean,
I mean, unless he's asexual.
Unless what?
Unless he's asexual. I think that's the word.
The asexual reproduction, they're going to go through mitosis and split into 2.
I mean, that's how that works. Is like they're capable of giving birth without the need about the need of there being 2. I think it's actually like something like that. Something like that in nature. I think there's something like that in nature. I just can't remember if that's even true or not. I know that term came from somewhere, so I feel like there has to be something out there that can do that. I mean, Erebus' roles are. I mean, the way, and then the whole idea of like 7 years, he's back, so he doesn't really care about dying. Which also leads to the whole idea. I think he wanted to be killed. Is a way to get revenge on everybody.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't seem all that concerned about, like, Ezra coming in with the sword, but I think that's what he wanted. Like the girl from the other queen mentioned, like, why tell you about the sword? Just something like, I love that she was the one that decided to say, and also because she is the first one usually to fire an arrow, which she also brings up too. Like, I like her as a character. I wish she was like a little bit more involved than she was, but I mean, her involvement was good enough. She was there to try to be the voice of wisdom for Ezra.
Yeah. She does a good job at that.
Yeah, it's like her involvement. I wish she was more involved, but her involvement is still good enough. So, after all the dragons end up dying, and then Zim's mother says goodbye to him, as they're dying. So I thought that was kind of sweet. She was still poisoned, so I'm guessing like even after all this has been done, she still had to go back and heal. And who knows how long that would take for her to heal. So I guess her going with her husband was probably the best way for that to happen. I gotta tell you though, I wasn't expecting all the archdragons to die though. Like, that was the last casualty I was expecting.
Yeah, they all go, except the only archdragon left is Zim.
Yep. And he can talk now.
Which was really
odd.
We could have done without. I think I could have done without that.
I think it makes sense though, considering that his mother can talk, and I suspect that his father could too. I mean, all the archdragons can talk.
I could have done without it, like that reveal at the end of the last episode. It just was awkward. They didn't pick a good voice for him either, I don't think.
Well, he's still relatively young. I suspect his voice will get deeper.
I guess. Also, wouldn't it be annoying to be the voice actor for Zim if they never make another episode?
Yeah, that is also true.
You're like, yeah, I was the Prince of the Dragons in Dragon Prince. What it's named after. And they'd be like, oh, really? And they'd be like, yeah, I had like 3 lines at the last episode.
I'm not.
You sucked.
I'm not gonna lie. Here's my feelings. I don't hate it, or I'm not saying you hate it. I don't dislike that they suddenly decided to have that. But I will say, as somebody who really wanted Zen to have a voice the entire dang show, it is very disappointing that it happens in the last episode. Because it's like, again, yeah, it does sound weird. And I think it only sounds weird because we're so used to hearing Zim groan and grunt and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not something in our brains.
But then he just swaps over to speaking perfect English. It's like no transition from groans to like speaking. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have first words or anything. He's just suddenly speaking full sentences.
He's been living for a while now. He's also been listening to other people speak too. I don't think Zim is dumb or anything like that. Would have impaired his ability to speak perfect English. It's possible it's a magical thing.
You don't do it to 60 like that. You know what I mean? It takes a little while to learn a language, and we know he didn't have the language at first.
It's possible that when Ezra was talking to him, I'm trying to really reach here. It's possible that when Ezra was talking to him through his mind, it's possible that they shared English, because sometimes they do that in fiction. Is like to two people who just share a library of words, so that way they can pick and choose what they want to say from that.
Did Zim understand English when he was grunting and groaning?
I feel like he was, because I remember like when Ezra was talking to him, Zim kind of responded almost like he understood, like he was actually like conversing with him. Because I think even Ezra was speaking to him through his magic language.
But like if Claudia spoke to Zim, would Zim understand it?
I'm pretty sure, because Kellen spoke to him too, right? And he responded like he understood. And I feel like didn't Soren speak to him too at some point? And Claudia might have spoke. Wait, I don't know. Claudia spoke to him. I mean, all in all, yeah, I know it was very sudden, and I'm not gonna lie, when it happened, I had to rewind the episode because I was like, wait, what? And then my thought process, like, could you speak the entire time and chose the exact moment to speak? That was my thought process. I was like, could he have spoken the entire time and he just chose now? Because he's like, yeah, this is what I sound like. Almost like he had that voice the entire time. He just chose not to say anything.
It doesn't make sense. He'd talk to his mom or something, you know?
We've never been in the room with him when he's with his mother. Just him and his mother. I think the last
Yeah.
time we had that happen, we immediately go out of the room when he's speaking to her.
Hmm.
And also,
I don't know.
Dragon
I
growth.
think it'd be really. I think it'd be especially stupid if he could have talked all along and didn't.
Not really. He just chose not to for some really odd reason. He could have had his
I think. It,
reasons.
I think it'd be like. I wouldn't be very impressed with that as a ratings choice.
I mean, you're not impressed with the writing choice that they went with.
I'd be even less impressed if they were like he could speak all along. He just decided not to because like it would have been very helpful for him to be able to speak.
I'm just getting like, you just don't like the fact that he spoke up now, basically, and you don't like the way his voice sounds.
I don't like the voice actor choice, but I also like I said, the 0 to 60 of it, like that all of a sudden he's like speaking like he's a teenager or something.
He is a teenager, I
I
think.
know, but like he went from not being able to speak to all at all to speaking with the vocabulary of a teenager, and it's
I
just
mean,
like
he was speaking, he was grunting
when
the entire show. I feel like he was grunting, and then moaning and grunting, so like the entire. He was speaking through that, because like I think even before it was even revealed that Ezra could like understand animals through whatever he's doing, which they never totally explain it either. It just kind of just shows up that he's capable of it. But I feel like as he was grunting and moaning, people were understanding him. To me, it's like his grunting and grunting was him speaking, and he was capable of learning. And I feel like he's capable of learning and picking up on language through listening. I mean, yeah, maybe they should have went slow with it, but I think it would have been even weirder at the last second for him to just be say I, and then that's it or whatever, or brother and that's it. Well, I mean, I guess him saying brother wouldn't have been so weird, but okay, we are gonna ban you because you're trying to sell ads. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie that it wasn't weird and kind of just sudden, but it's like to me, I take it as like dragons age differently in this world. Who knows when they actually start speaking English or whatever? Cause I'm almost guaranteeing that no way Zubeya was speaking English when she was when she was Zim's age. Same thing with Sol Regum, or all those other dragons. I suspect that they weren't. I suspect that they were not speaking speaking language along with the other living creatures up there at Zim's age, at the age before Zim. Like when Zim came out of the egg, I suspect that there is no way that they were speaking. They were probably grunting and grunting just like he was. It would probably have been helpful maybe Isabella had said something about you'll get your voice at such and such time or whatever, but she doesn't even say that either. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie that it's kind of sudden that he just suddenly starts speaking. I don't know if I would have appreciated him him trying to speak it than him like only like because if in my personal opinion I don't like when characters do that if they're trying to learn how during a language during a show because it takes away to me it takes away It's strange that it doesn't try to reconnect. It literally, when it disconnects, it just disconnects. That's it. It doesn't try to reconnecting.
I like that the show has Terry raise the birds up.
Oh, that's right. Speaking of birds, um, do you think it was kind of strange? Like, I guess before we get to that point, that's kind of the last bit that actually happens. Um, After Erebos is killed, oh yeah, then they have
What did you think about the fact that Sparkle Puff shows up?
he just kind of shows up out of nowhere, kind of
He
just.
shows up and screams, but it's just the distraction that they needed for to get an ambush on Erebos.
It seems so strange that he just shows up out of nowhere, and yeah, it is to distract him, but it's just like, didn't Erebos create him? Like, why is that thing such a nuisance to him?
Well, because he had him brutally murdered.
Fair. It just like,
Sparkle Puff was a pretty good friend to them.
well, now he's a dead friend because when the sun like came back, it killed everything. Which is interesting how the sun just kind of just came back. Everything, though, the shadow just died, and the shadow dragon just bit Erebos. Like, well, there goes the arch dragon bite. It's actually probably the reason why, because he kept coming back. They decided to just seal him away because there's no point in trying to kill him because he'll just come back in 7 years. Plus, sealing him does make sense. After Erebos' death and everybody can, return to a somewhat calm life. Callum and Rayla, Ezran was Zim in the in the Banther Lodge. I guess the queen that he was hanging around with went back to her kingdom, I guess, until she comes back again. Then it's like now they realize that Callum and Ezran also make up after like them after the little tiff that they had earlier. Then Ezran I think it's like the chance or whatever kind of brings it like they should rebuild now that they have time in 7 years. And Ezran just kind of has the idea that no, they're gonna make it better and stronger. And apparently, I guess that means they're gonna like reset up in a different place, because like they decide to put a stake into a land in between the Fey world and the human world, where they're gonna call this place Everkind after something that Terry decided to name it. But I thought it was kind of cool, and he gets to everybody gets to be who they are, whatever that is. And then he also brings up the birds, as you bring up later, as like he just keeps it hanging on to the birds. So that's kind of cool that he's keeping up with that whole like taking care of the birds thing. Yeah, speaking of birds, they bring up something like they always do in these shows, in particular, where there's a story thread that they only bring up that I guess they're only gonna follow in, I guess, Dragon Prince comics. And it's something about Ezran's father, and apparently Rayla's father, when he snuck up on him in the room as he was about to kill him, he squawks. And I thought that maybe meant that maybe his father is still alive somewhere. Like I don't know what this story bit was supposed to be about, but it made it seem like maybe that he didn't kill his father and his father wasn't even inside the room. I thought that was strange.
Yeah, they didn't answer that, did they?
Like, they did the exact same thing they did about Zuko's mother. They left off on that thing, and they only go through that in the comics.
But I would say that the father was not murdered.
Because they said there's apparently a bird that apparently thought that was a rumor, and he waited 6 seasons to bring this up because he didn't think any much of it. If I was Ezra, I would have thrown him in a dungeon. Impeding a royal examination. The appearance the series ends with it's all green and sunny. They get to live. I guess they get to live a peaceful life at least until Erebos comes back in 7 years, and the prince ends there. We see like Rayla and Callum get a chance to be a real couple. I want to say I like Rayla's hair down way more than I like it when it's up in braids.
Yeah.
I just think it looks better on her. I don't know. I like it better that way.
You think she's hot?
Moving on. But no, seriously, I mean, she looks more feminine like that way, and I don't know if that was the intent of that. She looked way more feminine that way, which is kind of strange considering that her hair had to been long to be able to braid it like that to begin with. But it's just like they do that. Long hair does that to a lot of female characters. I noticed that just when I'm looking at them, I was like, oh, they look way more girly now. What happened? But Callum and Rayla get to live their life together, which I thought was sweet. I'm surprised that it lasted the entire show. A part of me was expecting that something dumb was gonna happen. They were gonna break up again. So I'm glad that did not happen. The first show ends on a happy note. Also, we got a cliffhanger because, of course, why wouldn't we have a cliffhanger? Well, not a cliffhanger, more like a read the comics to find out more about Ezra's father. But what is it with these creators and like making a thread line they never answer in the cartoon with somebody's parents? Because that happened with Zuko. I don't know what the thread line was that they left behind in Legend of Korra. It might have something to do with Mako, I guess.
Why Mako?
I don't think they ever answered their parents, Mako and Bolin's parents thing. I know it was a big mystery who their parents were. At least I want to say that was the answer. I know there's a comic about what's going on with Mako's and Bolin's parents. I'm trying to think because I don't know if it can be anything else. I don't know if there was like a thread that they left unanswered in Korra other than those two, because I think Aang's family was answered pretty well. I think was there like a story beat that they kind of like let out there and he never answered it with Aang's family? I feel like they answered it all. I can't really think much about Legend of Korra. And I like that show. I can't remember a lot about it. Other than the kiss scene at the end of the show that it never got like aired because Nickelodeon.
The thing about Korra, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the first one, I watched it many times over, and really enjoyed it, and remembered a lot of it. Like I can recall the plot line and everything. Legend of Korra, my memory of it is just the plot line is just a lot of chaos. Like I don't remember a lot of specific things about it. And then I don't know. I never wanted to watch it again, so I've never watched Korra. I watched Legend of Korra once, and I have no desire to watch it again. But like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think I watched like 4 or 5 times.
I think Legend of Korra deserves more than just one watch. Though I will say, with me saying that, I haven't watched it more than once. I think I haven't watched it since it aired. Not that I don't like Legend of Korra. Like that's far from the truth. Um, also think because like Airbender was one long story through books. Legend of Korra was multiple stories
Yeah,
through books.
but like the bad guys like all kind of blended in together for me and stuff like that.
No, I think. Wait,
They're just a mesh for me. Like it's
what's
mishmash. Like I don't.
is it
None of them
Amon?
stand out. None of them really stand out for me.
I think Amon really stands out, at least for me in particular,
Which one's
because
Amon?
the first villain they fight, it was like during the anti-Bender protests and stuff like that. He was
Is he
like,
the one that could neutralize bending?
yeah, but it was also revealed that he could also waterbend, that he was a waterbending kid. So
Hmm.
it was all a lie. But
Well, that's because it was he was neutralizing it with blood bending, wasn't he?
I think, yeah, that are pressure points. Though there was that one girl who I think we all no, that was from the Avatar Last Airbender. I keep thinking about the girl who was able to chi block. I don't even
Yeah,
think
she's cool.
I don't even think I don't think chi blocking even came back in Legend of Korra. I don't remember. I mean, I have access to Legend of Korra. I actually have all four seasons in Salvage Giant Blu-ray thing I haven't watched. I intended to watch it. This is why I bought it, but I haven't gotten around to it. Again, though, this computer does not have an optical drive. I need to rectify that. Darn you, modern computers! Seriously, darn them. Like, much as I like them, like I feel like such an old person because like I want my optical drive.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with VHS players. I know what a VHS player is. I've only ever had used them when I was a kid, but that was a very short time in my life. It was like it's just like darn it. But yeah, I guess like ultimately I like Dragon Prince. I was reading somewhere, and I think I shared this with you too, that apparently they were in talks with Netflix about maybe doing 3 more seasons. There's nothing been confirmed yet, but like it sounded like they were willing um to make more of the show. But right now they don't. They're not going to. As far as I'm aware, I don't know what their next project is that they're gonna get animated. I think I was hearing something in the woodworks about an Earth Avatar coming soon. So I don't know if that's meant to be a comic thing or it's meant to be a show thing. We'll keep our eyes out for that. Maybe that'll be the next thing that we move on to before the podcast itself changes direction. If it still does, I have to see. Um,
Right.
huh?
I said right.
So with that, we return to we will technically speak. We return to one. I mean, I might as well add Daima to the list since we've been talking about it weekly. Give it an official seat in the title so people know we're talking about it.
Yeah.
If I remember to do that. Um,
We talked about Diamond more than either of the other two things today.
well, I think Daima did the unthinkable, which is like break the internet. I didn't think it was capable of being all real, but I was like, Dragon Ball's cool, but Dragon Ball hasn't had the online presence it's had in years. So it's like not even since 2018 when Super ended. I think it's like it hasn't really. It was surprising that Diamond was able to do that. So I guess we'll see that. We'll see what happens next week with Kenshin and Daima. See you guys then. Sorry for like the splitting of the podcast that just happened.